Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, Chapter 7, entitled Lord Chaitanya and Five Features. So, nectarian qualities of Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya, Charita, I think it's called character, Amrita, nectar. By Srila Krishna's Kaviraj, translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Next one. Agati ekagatim natva inartadika sadhakam Shri Chaitanyam likhatesya prema bhakti vadanyata. Okay. Let me first offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the ultimate goal of life for one bereft of all possessions in this material world, and is the only meaning for one advancing in spiritual life. Thus, let me write about his magnanimous contribution of devotional service in love of God. Purport. A person in the conditioned stage of material existence is in an atmosphere of helplessness, but the conditioned soul, under the illusion of Maya or the external energy, thinks that he is completely protected by his country, society, friendship, and love, not knowing that at the time of death, none of these can save him. The laws of material nature are so strong that none of our material possessions can save us from the cruel hands of death. In the Bhagavad Gita 13:9, it is stated, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanam. One who is actually advancing must always consider the four principles of miserable life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. One cannot be saved from all these miseries unless he takes the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is therefore the only shelter for all conditioned souls. An intelligent person therefore does not put his faith in any material possessions, but completely takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a person is called akinchana, or one who does not possess anything in this material world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also known as akinchana gochara, for he can be achieved by a person who does not put his faith in material possessions. Therefore, for the fully surrendered soul who has no material possessions on which to depend, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only shelter. Everyone depends upon dharma, religiosity, artha, economic development, kama, sense gratification, and ultimately moksha, salvation. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, due to his magnanimous character, can give more than salvation. Therefore, in this verse, sadhana indicates that although by material estimation salvation is of a quality superior to the inferior interest of religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification, above salvation there is the condition of devotional service and transcendental love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the bestower of this great benediction. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prema Pum Artho Mahan. Love of Godhead is the ultimate benediction for all human beings. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, therefore first offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before describing his magnanimity in bestowing love of Godhead. Wow, this is so nice. Yeah. So I like the first line where Prabhupada says that the person in conditional stage of material existence is in an atmosphere of helplessness. In other words, in this material world, we're totally helpless. And yet, under the illusion of Maya, we're thinking that it's all good. We're thinking that we're going to be protected, right? By our families, by our friends, by the police, by the military, right? The Department of Defense of the country or whatever. And he's saying, forget it. No one can save us from the cruel hands of death. The only way to get free from the conditions of birth, death, old age, and disease is to take full shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So that is the thing to do. And he's saying it's much easier to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya if we don't have too many material possessions. He says, Lord Chaitanya is the ultimate goal of life for one bereft of all possessions in this material world. So either the person who, just doesn't have much going for them is just like, all right, Krishna, I'm really like, then you can realize your helplessness and that, I have nothing to save me. I have nothing to fall back on, right? And I'm just depending on you. Or somebody who realizes that whatever material possessions they do have, they have the mercy of Krishna, and that actually those are Krishna's things that they're given to use in Krishna's service. And they realize that those things cannot save him. Those things can't save us. Only the Lord can save us. And it says here that he can do saving us, right? It says that he can give more than salvation. That he can actually give us transcendental love. Krishna, which is the highest goal of life. So Chaitanya is very kind and very generous. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Dhanhara Charana Shrita Se Pada Danya.
Let me offer glorification to the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who has taken shelter of his lotus feet is the most glorified person. Purport: Prabhu means master. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme master of all masters. Therefore, he is called Mahaprabhu. Any person who takes shelter of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is most glorified because, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is able to get promotion to the platform of loving service to the Lord, which is transcendental to salvation.
Yeah, so there are Prabhus and then there's Mahaprabhu. So we want to take shelter of the Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, because he can give us love for Krishna. Urve Gurvadi Chaya Tatve Kaila Namaskara Guru Tattva Kahiyachi Ebi Panchera Vichara. You got it there?
Which verse it is?
Text 3.
In the beginning, I have discussed the truth about the spiritual master. Now, I shall try to explain the Panchatattva. Purport: in the first chapter of the Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, the author Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has described the initiator spiritual master and the instructor spiritual master in the verse beginning with the words Bande Guru Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishvatarakam Kan. In that verse, there are 6 transcendental subject matters, of which the truth regarding the spiritual master has already been described. Now, the author will describe the other 5 tattvas, truths, namely Ish Tattva, the Supreme Lord, his expansion tattva, his incarnation tattva, his energy tattva, and his devotee tattva.
So tattva means category. Okay.
Variable, like a variable.
Yeah, tat means that, and va means like it's like the English suffix ness, right? Like happy ness, sad ness. So it means that-ness. It means the category of being the state of being that, right? That, so that is a demonstrative pronoun, which means that and this, right? And this is one category and that is something else. So yeah, these are the different, there's that, and that. There's 5 different categories of existence, right? The 5 tattvas, and these are panchatattvas. So each one is different, right? So there's the Isha tattva, and then there's Jiva tattva, there's Shakti tattva, there's different tattvas that are represented by the panchatattva. Text 4. Panchatattva avatirna chaitanya rasange Panchatattva lana karena sankirtana range. These 5 tattvas incarnate with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord executes his Sankirtan movement with great pleasure. So this is one of the most ecstatic purports in the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.532, there is the following statement regarding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varna Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. In the age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of the Sankirtan Yajna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by his plenary expansion Sri Nityananda Prabhu, his incarnation Sri Advaita Prabhu, his internal potency Sri Gadadhar Prabhu, and his marginal potency Sri Vas Prabhu. He is in the midst of them as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by these other tattvas. Therefore, our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are complete when we say, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. As preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement, we first offer our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting this Panchatattva mantra. Then we say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are 10 offenses in the chanting of Tattva, namely, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Mahavadanyaya Avatar, the most magnanimous incarnation. He does not consider the offenses of the fallen souls. Thus, to derive the full benefit of the chanting of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we must first take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, learn the Panchatattva Mahamantra, and then chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That will be very effective. Taking advantage of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many unscrupulous devotees manufacture a Mahamantra of their own. Sometimes they sing Bhajanitai Gaur Radhe Sham, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, or Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Shri Radhe Govinda. Actually, however, one should chant the names of the full Panchatattva, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, and then the 16 words, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But these unscrupulous, less intelligent men confuse the entire process. Of course, since they are also devotees, they can express their feelings in that way. But the method prescribed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pure devotees is to first chant the full Panchatattva mantra and then chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is everyone clear on what we should chant? Right? No doubt. Yeah. So it's interesting, this point here that Prabhupada says that one should know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by these other tattvas. Therefore, our obeisances to him are complete only when we address all the members of the Panchatattva. So, to pay obeisances to Lord Chaitanya properly, we have to pay obeisances to him and Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya and Gadadhar and also Srivas Thakur. So, Panchatattva mantra is very appropriate. Otherwise, they're standing there together and we only pay obeisances to Lord Chaitanya, then he's going to be like, what about my associates? You're not going to respect them? Nityananda is tapping his foot there. Srivas Thakur is like,
At least here, and you can get a opportunity to use this stick.
right, it's a red stick. Yeah, so another important point here is that we shouldn't try to make up our own mantras and things and think, oh, I like that one better, I'll just chant that. We need to stick with the authorized mantra that the Lord has given, because the Lord knows what's best and he gives us the best thing. And this is what he gave us, is the Panchatattva mantra and the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And it says that in this age of Kali, anyone who has sufficient intelligence is going to worship Lord Chaitanya by performance of Sankirtan, chanting the holy names. So, yeah, anyone who's doing this is sufficiently intelligent. If anyone tries to tell you you're not intelligent, you can quote this verse from 11th canto. It says that, hey, I'm chanting the holy names of the Lord, I'm worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Sankirtan Yagya. And Srimad Bhagavatam says that anyone who does that is Sumedasaha, very intelligent. So, quote your Shastra, says that I'm not. Okay, text 5. Panchatattva ekavastu nahi kichu beda, rasa aspadite tabu vivida viveda. Nikesh.
Sure. Give me one moment.
Okay.
Spiritually, there are no differences between these five tattvas. For one, the transcendental platform, everything is absolute. Yet there are also varieties in the spiritual world, and in order to taste these spiritual varieties, one should distinguish between them. Purport. In his Anuvasya commentary, Sri Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakura describes the Panchatattva as follows: the supreme energetic, the personality of Godhead manifesting in order to enjoy five kinds of pastimes, appears as the members of the Panchatattva. Actually, there is no difference between them because they are situated on the absolute platform, but they manifest different spiritual varieties as a challenge to the impersonalists to taste different kinds of spiritual humors. Rasas. In the Vedas, it is said, Parasya Saktir Vividaiva Sruyate. The varieties of energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are differently known. From this statement of the Vedas, one can understand that there are eternal varieties of humors or tastes in the spiritual world. Sri Gauranga, Sri Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Sri Gadadhara, and Srivasa Thakura are all on the same platform, but in spiritually distinguishing between them, one should understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the form of a devotee. Nityananda Prabhu appears in the form of a devotee's spiritual master. Advaita Prabhu is the form of a bhakta devotee incarnation. Gadadhara Prabhu is the energy of a bhakta, and Srivasa Thakura is a pure devotee. Thus, there are spiritual distinctions between them. The Bhakta Rupa Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhakta Swarupa Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and the Bhakta Avatara Sri Advaita Prabhu are described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, His immediate manifestation, and His plenary expansion, and they all belong to the Vishnu category. Although the spiritual and marginal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, they are predominated subjects, whereas Lord Vishnu is the predominator. As such, although they are on the same platform, they have appeared differently in order to facilitate tasting of transcendental mellows. Actually, however, there is no possibility of one being different from the other, for the worshipper and the worshipable cannot be separated at any stage. On the absolute platform, one cannot be understood without the other.
Right. Yeah. So we see here that the Lord likes variety. So even though the verse here is saying that on the transcendental platform, everything is absolute, and therefore there's no difference between these five tattvas, but still they appear in different ways, different manifestations of the Lord's energy, perform different functions, they have different personalities, and for the sake of producing different rasas or different tastes in the relationship. So Krishna likes that. And that's why he makes us all individuals, right? He could just make everybody the same. Make some things easier, right? Like, living with people with different personalities is sometimes a little challenging. If we all thought the same, it would be like so much easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But then it would be so boring. So, yeah, Krishna doesn't go for easy. Krishna goes for interesting. Krishna goes for pleasure, right? Rasa Vaisaha, so that he is rasa. That those who take shelter of him experience the highest rasas. So, yeah, that's why we're here, eternal individuals, and these members of the Panchatattva are also individual and they have their distinct differences, even though they're absolute and non-different. Text 6. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. This is the Panchatattva mantra. Hannah.
Let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna, who has manifested himself in 5 as a devotee, expansion of a devotee, incarnation of a devotee, pure devotee, and devotional energy. Purport. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the immediate expansion of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu as his brother. He is the personified spiritual bliss of Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is transcendental and full of ecstasy and devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is therefore called Bhakta Rupa, the form of a devotee, and Sri Nityananda Prabhu is called Bhakta Swarup, the expansion of a devotee. Sri Advaita Prabhu, the incarnation of a devotee, is Vishnu Tattva and belongs to the same category. There are also different types of bhaktas or devotees on the platforms of neutrality, servitude, friendship, parenthood, and conjugal love. Devotees like Sri Damodar, Sri Gadadhar, and Sri Ramananda are different energies. This confirms the Vedic sutra Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. All the bhakta subjects have taken together all the bhakti subjects taken together constitute Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself.
Yeah, so here we have Bhakta Rupa, that's Lord Chaitanya. It's Krishna who has taken the Rupa, or the form of a Bhakta, form of a devotee. And then Swarupakam, Swarup means, Swa means one's own. So it means one's own, his own form. So Nityananda is basically the same form. He's basically the same, right? It's like Krishna, Balaram is the same as Krishna, but he's just different color. So Swarupakam is Lord Nityananda, who is the same in potency and godness as Lord Chaitanya, but he just looks different. His personality is different. Then Bhakta Avatar, that's Advaita Acharya, that he's the incarnation of the devotee. And then Bhakta Akyam means the one who is known as a devotee, that's Srivas Thakur. He's actually a devotee. And then Bhakta Shaktikam means Gadadhar Pandit. He is the Shakti. He's no different from Srimati Radharani, actually. So, yeah, Radharani is the Adi Shakti.
This was the Panchatattva mantra given by Mahaprabhu Chaitanya.
Not sure who wrote it, but it's here in. I mean, it might have been composed by Krishna's Kaviraj because he's offering his obeisances. It doesn't give another reference. So generally, like when there's not another reference given, it's but then this, yeah, it doesn't say. But this is a Sanskrit mantra, right? It's not Bengali mantra. So it could be that he's taking it from somewhere else, but it just doesn't say where. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Ekale Ishvara Advitiya Nandatmaja Rasika Shekara.
Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, the Supreme Controller. No one is greater than or equal to Sri Krishna, yet he appears as the son of Maharaj Nanda. Report. In this verse, Kaviraj Goswami gives an accurate description of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by stating that although no one is equal to or greater than him, and he is the reservoir of all spiritual pleasure, he nevertheless appears as the son of Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda Mai.
Rasadi Vilasi Raja Lalana Nagara Arayata Sabadeka Tanra Parikara.
Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the supreme enjoyer in the rasa dance. He is the leader of the damsel of Raja, and all others are simply his associates. Purport: the word Rasadi Vilasi, the enjoyer of the rasa dance, is very important. The rasa dance can be enjoyed only by Sri Krishna because he is the supreme leader and chief of the damsel of Vrindavana. All others are his devotees and associates. Although no one can compare with Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are many unscrupulous rascals who imitate the rasa dance of Sri Krishna. They are Mayavadis, and people should be wary of them. The rasa dance can be performed only by Sri Krishna and no one else.
So he's establishing the position of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller, the supreme personality of Godhead. No one is greater, no one is equal. The enjoyer of the rasa dance. He's the leader of all the damsels of Raja. Everyone else are simply his associates, but he is the main character. Right? Rasadi. Yeah, this would be a nice name, right? Rasadi Vilasi. Hey Krishna Avatirna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Se Parikaragana Sange Sabadanya.
The self-same Lord Krishna invented himself as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his eternal associates who are also equally glorious.
Yeah, so he's making it very clear that that Krishna, Krishna who is the Rasadi Vilasi, the enjoyer of the rasa dance, has appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we don't see that any other incarnation of Krishna is like engaging in the rasa dance. Right? Not any of the Vishnus, not Lord Ramachandra, Lord Nrsimhadev. Even Lord Balaram doesn't have rasa dance with Krishna's gopis. He has his own gopis. But yeah, so we're talking about Krishna. And so Lord Chaitanya is exactly Krishna. He's not an incarnation of Krishna. He's not an expansion of Krishna. He is Krishna. Be very clear about that. Ekale Ishvara Tattva Chaitanya Ishvara Bhakta Bhavamaya Tanra Shuddha Kalevara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the supreme controller, the one personality of Godhead, has ecstatically become a devotee. Yet his body is transcendental and not materially tinged. There are different tattvas or truths, including Isha Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and Shakti Tattva. Isha Tattva refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who is the supreme living force. In the Katha Upanishad, it is said, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanash Chaitananam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the supreme eternal and the supreme living force. The living entities are also eternal and are also living forces, but they are very minute in quantity, whereas the Supreme Lord is the supreme living force and the supreme eternal. The supreme eternal never accepts a body of a temporary material nature, whereas the living entities who are part and parcel of the supreme eternal are prone to do so. Thus, according to the Vedic mantras, the Supreme Lord is the supreme master of innumerable living entities. The Mayavadi philosophers, however, try to equate the minute living entities with the supreme living entity. Because they recognize no distinctions between them, their philosophy is called Advaita Vad, or monism. Factually, however, there is a distinction. This verse is especially meant to impart to the Mayavadi philosopher the understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Controller. Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead, is Krishna himself, but as a transcendental pastime, he has accepted the form of a devotee, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna comes to this planet exactly like a human being, some rascals consider him to be one of the ordinary humans. One who thinks in that mistaken way is described as mudha, or foolish. Therefore, one should not foolishly consider Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be an ordinary human being. He has accepted the ecstasy of a devotee, but he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there have been many imitation incarnations of Krishna who cannot understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself and not an ordinary human being. Less intelligent men create their own gods, so-called gods, by advertising a human being as God. This is their mistake. Therefore, here the words Tanra Shuddha Kalevara warned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body is not material, but purely spiritual. One should not, therefore, accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an ordinary devotee, although he has assumed the form of a devotee. Yet one must certainly know that although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he accepted the ecstasy of a devotee, one should not misunderstand his pastimes and place him in exactly the same position as Krishna. It is for this reason only that when Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was addressed as Krishna or Vishnu, he blocked his ears, not wanting to hear himself addressed as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a class of devotees called Gauranga Nagari, who stage plays of Krishna's pastimes using a vigraha or form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is a mistake that is technically called rasa abhas. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to enjoy as a devotee, one should not disturb him by addressing him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, but he comes in a different mood. So when he comes as Lord Chaitanya, then we have to respect his mood, right? He's in the mood of a devotee. So we need to honor him, right? As we understand in our hearts, we understand he's the Lord. But the way that we worship him is that he's the Lord in the form of a devotee. So yeah, these Gauranga Nagaris, they'll do like dramatic performances of the Rasa Lila, and they'll have all the gopis dancing with Lord Chaitanya. So that doesn't work, right? Because Lord Chaitanya was a sannyasi and he did not dance with gopis. So yeah, in his form as Krishna, he dances with gopis. In his form as Lord Chaitanya, he dances in kirtan with his, male associates. So we have to understand the mood of the Lord.
So because he is coming in the form of the devotee, we should not be considering him like he's not Krishna. Like when we are worshipping him, we should have the attitude like he's in the form of a devotee. Is that right?
Yeah, but we don't worship him as, we worship him as Krishna who came in the form of a devotee. So we know that he's Krishna. We're not like, all right, you didn't want us to know that you're Krishna, so we're going to pretend that you're not and just worship you and just consider you like, an amazing devotee. We don't do that. We worship him as the Lord.
So I've heard from some people that when you dress up Gaurnita, you're not supposed to put peacock feather on them because they are like in the form of the devotee. They're not Krishna. That's what I've heard. Is that right? Is that right?
Say that.
Because
some devotees
and I agree with that. I kind of agree with that because he's Gaurnita and you put peacock feather. That's kind of like
it's a little bit
I
rasabas.
kind of like
Like whoever they say we put it because he's in the
But in the temple they don't do it,
in the
right?
temple they do
Yeah,
it.
so I think we shouldn't be doing it. Yeah. It's like
It's probably a better standard
like-
not to,
yeah.
because just like, if you are worshiping the deity of Lord Vishnu, you wouldn't go like giving him a flute,
Yeah.
even though
Somehow we get a feather or
yeah,
Narasimha also we don't
he doesn't wear peacock
Yeah.
feather.
Because they are into that particular mood.
Yeah,
So you have to follow the mood.
yeah. But
So-
devotees like to emphasize the fact that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna by putting the peacock. It's more for the devotees' pleasure. Like, yeah, we know you're Krishna, so we're going to put peacock feather there.
To remind you.
But we shouldn't do things. We shouldn't worship the Lord according to our taste. We should worship the Lord according to His taste. So that's important. Yeah, I know that Gaur Govinda Maharaj was one devotee who was very strong about that. If you give Lord Chaitanya a peacock feather, it disturbs his mood, basically. Hannah.
I was gifted my deities, honestly, a little bit prematurely. I should not have them, but I accept them. But anyways, when I first got them, I didn't know anything. So I was just like buying a bunch of stuff and I bought peacock feathers. And every time I tried to put one on, it would fall off.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, oh, you don't want this. But then I made like a little Brahmin thread because I had just was looking at photos online and I made like little Tulsi beads and it was so easy. So like when worshiping my deities. When it's easy, I'm like, oh, they want this. And then when things are so complicated, I'm like, let me just stop.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, there you go then. Ayushi.
Like we know Krishna has a lot of incarnations, but in the temple they worship majorly the 10 avatars. Why don't we consider Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as one of the most important 10 avatars? It could have been like 11.
Because he's not an avatar. He's Krishna. The 10 avatars are the Leela avatars. But there's different types. There's 6 different kinds of avatars. Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Manvantara avatars, Shaktivesha avatars. So, but Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is not an avatar. He's Krishna. So that's why we don't put him in the category of avatars.
Of those 10 incarnations we worship at like some Leela.
The Leela avatars are the 10. Yeah.
Are you asking why they are not on the altar? That's your question. Then
Why don't we say
the
11?
other.
Why don't we put Lord Chaitanya
avatars
in with the
of
Das
the Lord
avatars?
Chaitanya?
Oh, okay.
Because he's not Leela, and he's
Yeah. See, Krishna is not one of the Leela avatars.
Krishna is
Krishna's Krishna. Yeah, but the thing is, he's not an avatar. The avatars come for other Leelas, right? They have their own Leelas. They usually they're functional, right? Like Matsya comes when the Vedas need saving. Varaha comes when the earth is submerged in the Garbhodak ocean. Lord Nrsimhadev comes to protect Prahlad, like that. They come for purposes. Parashuram comes to like eliminate the corrupt Kshatriyas, and Buddha comes to get people to stop killing animals and sacrifices. So they come, like the Lord sends them. He expands himself, and he's like, all right, you go and do this job. But Krishna doesn't do any jobs.
Krishna just plays.
Yeah, he's just enjoying. And Lord Chaitanya also. He comes for his own internal reasons. Okay, text 11. Krishna Madhuryara Eka Adbhuta Swabhava Apana Asvadite Krishna Kare Bhakta Bhava. Nikesh.
The transcendental mellow of conjugal love of Krishna is so wonderful that Krishna himself accepts the form of a devotee to relish and taste it fully. Purport. Although Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, he has a special intention to taste himself by accepting the form of a devotee. It is to be concluded that although Lord Chaitanya is present in the form of a devotee, he is Krishna himself. Therefore, Vaishnavas sing Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. Radha and Krishna combined together are Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Sri Swarupa Damodara Goswami has said, Chaitanya Akhyam Prakatam Adhuna Tad Dvayam Chaikyam Aptam. Radha and Krishna assumed oneness in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So then this is why, see why Lord Chaitanya, why Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya, to be able to relish the transcendental mellow of conjugal love, right? Krishna Madhuryara Eka Adbhuta Swabhava. He wanted to taste that wonderful nectar, that rasa, of Madhurya Ras. So that was his internal reason. Itte Bhakta Bhava Dhare Chaitanya Gosai Bhakta Swarupa Tanra Nityananda Bhai. Nityananda Bhai. Hannah?
For this reason, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Teacher, accepts the form of a devotee and accepts Lord Nityananda as his elder brother.
That would be a good name too, right? Nityananda Bhai.
Nityananda Bhai.
Bhakta Avatara Tanna Acharya Gosai Etina Tattva Sabe Prabhu Kari Gai. Rich, you came. Did you find the place, Rich?
Please excuse me, Prabhupada Priya. I don't have the place where we're at. I came in late.
Okay. You can just listen if you want. Otherwise, you
Okay.
can find the place for the next time around. We're at Caitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila, chapter 7, text 13.
Okay. Next time when you come around me, 6, 7, 13.
Yeah, Adi-lila 7:13.
7:13. Thank you, Prabhupada Priya.
All right. How about you, Sneha? Are you ready to read?
Yes.
Okay.
Sri Advaita Acharya is Lord Chaitanya's incarnation as a devotee. Therefore, these three tattvas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Goswami, are the predominators or masters. Purpose. Goswami means Goswami, a person who has full control over the senses, and the mind is called a Goswami or Goswami. One who does not have such control is called a Godasa, or a servant of the senses, and cannot become a spiritual master. A spiritual master who actually has control over the mind and senses is called Goswami. All the Goswami title has become all the Goswami title has become a hereditary designation for unscrupulous men. Actually, the title Goswami or Goswami began from Sri Rupa Goswami, who presented himself as an ordinary grihastha and minister in government service, but became a Goswami when he was actually elevated by the instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Goswami is not a hereditary title but refers to one's qualifications. When one is highly elevated in spiritual advancement, regardless of where from he comes, he may be called Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Advaita Goswami Prabhu are natural Goswamis because they belong to the Vishnu Tattva category. As such, all of them are Prabhus, that is, predominators or masters, and they are sometimes called Chaitanya Goswami, Nityananda Goswami, or Advaita Goswami. Unfortunately, their so-called descendants who do not have the qualifications of Goswamis have accepted the title as a hereditary designation or a professional degree. This is not in accord with Shastric injections.
Yeah, so these, out of the Panchatattva, 3 of them are Vishnu Tattva. They're in the category of God, and that is Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Advaita Acharya. So if you have deities of Panchatattva, or you have like a picture of Panchatattva and you want to offer them Tulsi, you can offer to Chaitanya, Nityananda, and Advaita, but you don't offer to Gadadhar and Srivas, because they're not, you offer Tulsi to the feet only of Vishnu Tattvas. That's why we don't offer Tulsi to Radharani's lotus feet, right? You can put in Radharani's hand to offer to Krishna, but you don't put on her feet, you put only on Krishna's. So, yeah, these 3 are the 3 Goswamis. And Prabhupada, yeah, he talks about this because it's not really an issue with Lord Chaitanya because Lord Chaitanya didn't have children. But Nityananda and Advaita both had children, and those hereditary lines are still existing. And sometimes they claim that they are the ones, right? They are the only real Goswamis because they're descendants of Nityananda or Advaita Acharya, and everybody else is pretty useless and can never come to the position of being a Goswami. So Prabhupada says, no, this is nonsense. Goswami just means anyone who can control the senses, master the senses. So if anyone is a master of the senses, then they're technically can use the title Goswami. Okay, text 14. Eka Mahaprabhu Ara Prabhu Dui Jana Dui Prabhu Seve Mahaprabhu Racharana.
17?
14.
14. One of them is Mahaprabhu and the other 2 are Prabhus. These 2 Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu.
Purport. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Advaita Prabhu all belong to the same Vishnu category, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is nevertheless accepted as the supreme, and the other two Prabhus engage in his transcendental loving service to teach ordinary living entities that every one of us is subordinate to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In another place in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adi 5:14, it is said, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabha Bhritya. The only supreme master is Krishna, and all others, both Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva, engage in the service of the Lord. Both the Vishnu Tattva as Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita and the Jiva Tattva Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda engage in the service of the Lord. But one must distinguish between the Vishnu Tattva servitors and the Jiva Tattva servitors. The Jiva Tattva servitor, the spiritual master, is actually the servitor God. As explained in previous verses, in the absolute world there is no such differences, yet one must observe these differences in order to distinguish the supreme from his subordinates.
Even amongst the Vishnu Sattva's, there are some distinctions, right? Like we were seeing in the previous classes, how even Lord Balaram considers himself a servant of Krishna. Even Lord Nityananda considers himself a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Advaita was ecstatically saying, I'm the servant of Lord Chaitanya, I'm the servant. And I'm the servant of his servant. That is their mood. And then Krishna likes to be the servant of his devotees. And Lord Chaitanya also likes to serve the devotees. So even though he's actually the ultimate, the one legitimate, ultimate master of everyone, but he likes to serve.
So it feels like being a servant is like very cool. It feels like
Yes.
It's the best thing.
it's the best thing. That's why even Krishna wants to be a servant.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best
Yeah.
thing in spiritual circles, right? In
Yeah.
the spiritual platform. It's not the best thing in the material world.
Yeah.
Because in the
You
material
get
world,
exploited.
yeah, you get cheated, exploited, and spit on.
So only Vishnu Tattva servitors, they are just the Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu. And others are Jiva Tattva. Like I did not understand.
Yeah.
Only so in the whole
In the whole Caitanya Lila? I think so, yeah, actually. Can't think of anyone else. There
and
might
only
be.
because they are Vishnu Tattva, that's why they are called Vishnu Tattva servitors. Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. Text 16. Shrivasadi Yata Koti Koti Bhakta Gana Shuddha Bhakta Tattva Madhye Tansabara Ganana.
15.
Oh wait. Oh, I didn't read 15. We didn't do 15. Itina Tattva Sarva Radya Karimani Chaturtaye Bhakta Tattva Aradha Kachani.
The three predominators, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu, are worshipable by all living entities. And the fourth principle, Sri Gadadhara Prabhu, is to be understood as their worshipper. Purport. In his Anubhasya, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, describing the truth about the Panchatattva, explains that we should understand that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme predominator and that Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu are his subordinates but are also predominators. Lord Sri Chaitanya Prabhu is the supreme Lord and Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu are manifestations of the supreme Lord. All of them are Vishnu Tattva, the supreme, and are therefore worshipable by the living entities. Although the other two tattvas within the category of Panchatattva, namely Shakti Tattva and Jiva Tattva, represented by Gadadhara and Srivasa, are worshippers of the Supreme Lord. They are in the same category because they are eternally engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord.
Yeah, so the pure devotees, they're also basically in the same category because they're totally spiritual, right? There's nothing material, there's no material contamination or anything. So spiritual is spiritual, right? The Lord is completely spiritual, and the pure devotees are also completely spiritual. So in that sense, they're in the same category, even though They're in a different tattva. Okay, we read text 16 Bengali already, so you can just read it.
There are innumerable pure devotees of the Lord, headed by Shiva's Thakur, who are known as unalloyed devotees.
Yeah, so when we say Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda, Srivas means Srivas Thakur, and then Adi means that means beginning with. So Adi Gaura, so Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavrinda means all the bhaktas of Gaura, right? All the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, beginning with or headed by Srivas. So Srivas is the chief of all the Jiva Tattva Bhaktas of Lord Chaitanya, and there are so many more. So when we say the Panchatattva mantra, we're not just saying the Panchatattva, but we're saying and all of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya also. That includes even us, right? So when you say Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavrinda, that means all the assembled devotees also. And all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya all around the world and in his pastimes and for all time. Those 6 Goswamis and everyone. So that covers it. Okay. Gadadhara Panditari Prabhura Shakti Avatara Antaranga Bhakta Kari Gananayam Hara. The devotees headed by Gadadhar Pandit are to be considered incarnations of the internal potency of the Lord. They are confidential devotees engaged in the service of the Lord. Purport. In connection with verses 16 and 17, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains in his Anubhasya, there are specific symptoms by which the internal devotees and the unalloyed or pure devotees are to be known. All unalloyed devotees are Shakti Tattvas, or potencies of the Lord. Some of them are situated in conjugal love and others in filial affection, fraternity, and servitude. Certainly all of them are devotees, but by making a comparative study, it is found that the devotees or potencies who are engaged in conjugal love are better situated than the others. Thus, devotees who are in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in conjugal love are considered to be the most confidential devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who engage in the service of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Advaita Prabhu generally have relationships of parental love, fraternity, servitude, and neutrality. When such devotees develop great attachment for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they too become situated within the intimate circle of devotees in conjugal love. This gradual development of devotional service is described by Srila Narottam Das Thakur as follows. Gauranga bolite habe Pulaka Sharira Hari Hari bolite Yane Bhavehira Araka Benisai Chanda Karuna Karile Samsara Vasana Mora Kabe Tuchave Vishaya Chariya Kabe Shudhabe Mana Kabe Hamaheraba Shri Vrindavan Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hariveya Kuti Kabe Hamabhujava Shri Yugala Piriti. When will there be eruptions on my body as soon as I chant the name of Lord Chaitanya? And when will there be incessant torrents of tears as soon as I chant the holy names Hare Krishna? When will Lord Nityananda be merciful towards me and free me from all desires for material enjoyment? When will my mind be completely freed from all contamination of desires for material pleasure? Only at that time will it be possible for me to understand Vrindavan. Only if I become attached to the instructions given by the 6 Goswamis, headed by Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, will it be possible for me to understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. By attachment to the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one immediately comes to the ecstatic position. When he develops his love for Nityananda Prabhu, he is freed from all attachment to the material world, and at that time he becomes eligible to understand the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan. In that condition, when one develops his love for the 6 Goswamis, he can understand the conjugal love between Radha and Krishna. There are different stages of a pure devotee's promotion to conjugal love in the service of Radha and Krishna in an intimate relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, so that Narottam Das Thakur is outlining the path for actually realizing Sri Vrindavan, or entering into actual Vrindavan. So yeah, we have to take shelter of Lord Nityananda, who's very merciful. And Lord Nityananda can free us from all desires for material enjoyment. And then, yeah, when Vishaya Chariya means when we give up all material enjoyment, and Shuddha Habeman, then the mind becomes pure. And then it says, and then we can actually experience Vrindavan. So, yeah. And then the way to really understand it more deeply is, or the way to, now that we've come to into Vrindavan, we want to enter into the conjugal loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So how do we do that? Rupa Raghunatha Pade. We need to take shelter of the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, and then Sri Yugala Piriti. We can understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. Jai. So these things are very important to understand. Text 18 and 19. Yansabalana Prabhura Nitya Vihara, Yansabalana Prabhura Kirtana Prachara, Yansabalana Karena Prema Asvadana, Yansabalana Dana Kare Prema Dana. Rich, you there? You gotta unmute yourself.
Yes, okay, thank you, Prabhupada Priya. Translation: the internal devotees or potencies are all eternal associates in the pastimes of the Lord. Only with them does the Lord advent to propound the Sankirtana movement. Only with them does the Lord taste the mellow of conjugal love, and only with them does he distribute this love of God to people in general. Purport: distinguishing between pure devotees and internal or confidential devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami in his book Upadesamrita traces the following gradual process of development. Out of many thousands of karmis, one is better when he is situated in perfect Vedic knowledge. Out of many such learned scholars and philosophers, one who is actually liberated from material bondage is better. And out of many such persons who are actually liberated, one who is a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is considered to be the best. Among the many such transcendental lovers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the gopis are the best, and among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the best. Srimati Radhika is very dear to Lord Krishna, and similarly, her pawns, namely Shyama Kunda and Radha Kunda, are also very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in his Anubhasya that among the five tattvas, two are energies, Shakti Tattva, and the three others are energetic, Shaktiman Tattva. Unalloyed and internal devotees are both engaged in the favorable culture of Krishna consciousness, untinged by philosophical speculation or fruitive activities. They are all understood to be pure devotees, and those among them who simply engage in conjugal love are called Madhurya Bhaktas, or internal devotees. The loving service in parental love, fraternity, and servitude are included in conjugal love of God. In conclusion, therefore, every confidential devotee is a pure devotee of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoys his pastimes with his immediate expansion, Nityananda Prabhu, his pure devotees, and his three Purusha incarnations, namely Karana Dakshayi Vishnu, Garbho Dakshayi Vishnu, and Kishora Dakshayi Vishnu, always accompany the Supreme Lord to propound the Sankirtana movement.
Thank you. Yeah, so this verse is telling us how important these devotees are, right? Because they're eternal associates of the Lord, And only with them does the Lord, only with their help, basically, can the Lord perform his pastimes, right? He's not going to do his pastimes alone. So he comes to propagate the Sankirtan movement, and they help him. And he comes to also taste the mellow of conjugal love, and they also help him. And he also comes to distribute that love to the people in general, and they help him. So Lord Chaitanya is actually, I mean, in one sense, he could do everything alone by himself, because anyways, they are expansions of his energies, and he's the supreme, all-powerful Lord. But that's not how he likes to do things. The Lord likes to, he's a team player. He likes to have a team. He likes to come with his associates, and that they help him, and they have a good time doing it together. Right? So it's like if you have a big project, even if you have the qualifications to do it, you have to do it all by yourself. It's like kind of like a grind, right? You just like, but if you're doing it with your friends, right? Like sometimes the school, we would have like a Maha cleaning day, and we get all the kids to like clean the classrooms and stuff. And because they were doing it with their friends, they were having a great time. They're all getting their cloths and buckets of soapy water and broom and dustpan, and they like made the classroom spotless, and they had a great time doing it. If you would tell, okay, you take that classroom, you take that classroom, you take that classroom, they're going to be miserable. They're just going to feel like, they're just being exploited and, becoming slaves of the school or something. But you just put them together, and then it becomes fun. So like that, Lord Chaitanya shows that whatever we do, if we do it together with devotees, it's going to be more relishable. It's going to be ecstatic. So he comes with all of these devotees. And then the purport Prabhupada was saying that there are different levels of devotees. The best devotees are the gopis. And but within Madhurya Rasa are all the other rasas. It's a complete rasa. So anyways, that was one of Lord Chaitanya's missions, was to really kind of like make Madhurya Rasa known and accessible, and let people know that like it's out there, you can serve Krishna in this mood. Because before that, people were kind of like Dasya Rasa and Shanta Rasa, basically. So he really wanted to make people aware of the three higher rasas. Now we can have these very, very intimate relationships with Krishna, actually, through bhakti. Okay, we better stop there because it's 5:04 here.
In this para, it is trying to classify different way Shakti Tattva and three other energetic Shakti Man Tattva.
Yeah. Shaktiman means the energetic, the source of the energies, and Shakti means the energy.
So who are two Shakti Tattvas?
Gadadhar and Srivas. Right? So before he said that Gadadhar is Shakti Tattva and Srivas is Jiva Tattva, but Jiva is also a Shakti, right? Jiva Shakti. So, but the Chaitanya, Nityananda, and Advaita are Shaktiman, means that they are the source of the Shaktis. Okay, like there's the sun and the sunshine. So the sun is the source of the sunshine. Okay, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Sri Krishna Savaraj Goswami ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai.